السلام عليكم يا ولاد، عاملين ايه؟ أتمنى ربنا يكون بخير كده وصحة وسلامة ومستعدين إن شاء الله للامتحان الفاينل. بس أحب أذكركم إن الامتحان زي ما هو نزل الجدول هيبقى يوم أعتقد من 18 لساعة 19 أو كده. ودلوقتي أنا بحاول إن أنا أغطي المواضيع اللي هي المين توبكس أو المين فوكس بتاعت الامتحان أو الحاجات اللي هي 90% أو متوقع إنها تيجي في الامتحان وكده. والمطلوب منكم إنكم انتوا تذاكروا الريفيجنز ديت وتركزوا على اللي فيها كويس، وبالتالي ربنا يسهل وتحلوا وتقدروا تحلوا أسئلة الامتحان وتبقى يعني فوكس إن شاء الله. طيب هنبدأ في ريفيجن 2 زي ما قلنا إن احنا ريفيجن 1، وهنبدأ حاجة جديدة اسمها characteristics affecting consumer behavior. As we can see in the slide in front of us, we reflected on the Maslow hierarchy of needs. We can see it's incorporated in pyramid symbol in front of us, where we can see the first, because it's like a pyramid feature. So we start from the base, not from the top. We start here on the psychological needs, where a symbol of the psychological needs: hunger and thirst by food and by water. Then we move to safety needs, security and protection, social needs, sense of belonging, if I belong to something or love someone. This will constitute the third stage of Abraham Maslow's hierarchy needs, or the pyramids of desire of distinct needs. The fourth stage is esteem needs, where self-esteem, recognition, status, where your job, or you need someone who just estimate you or respect you, etc. The last one, or the top of the pyramid of the hierarchy needs, self-actualization needs, where it's related to what has to do with self-development and realization to achieve your objectives in life, job, education. Maslow hierarchy needs, again, here it's like without the explanation of all the subtitle of each needs. But we can see how it's reflected or echoes the implication or marketing implication of Maslow. For a brand to be considered, for instance, it must satisfy some needs. If you get like a beverage or Coca-Cola, you have like thirst needs. You get like McDonald's or hamburger or etc., you want to satisfy the hunger needs, which is the first needs in that brand. Hierarchical needs met before the above, because if we get like self-actualization or self-esteem, you need someone, you need to achieve your objectives in job, or education, or life, or your career. But first you need to satisfy or to achieve or to fulfill the lower needs. Where are they? The food, thirst, etc. Countries or cultural segment can differ focus on needs, because people sometimes they focus on fulfilling education and they save money for education, so they save their needs, or they save from their needs for food and drinks and the luxuries and going out, etc., in order to achieve the first or the top needs, or it has to link, or it has to do with self-actualization, job performance, or here we can show the link between both the market implication of Maslow hierarchy and the needs. Psychological needs where, for instance, we can products like we can take a sample of products like vitamins, herbal supplements, medicines, low fat foods, exercise equipment, fitness club. Well, what are the consequences or the results of this marketing approach? Like, oh, what those oats can do, bots and nutrition drinks, your body will thank you, etc. The implication here is more people return to us for good health. This implication, people were looking nowadays for vitamins, how to fight the COVID-19 or the pandemic, etc. Ginkgo by ginseng, some kind of vitamins and food supplements, or the sick person supplements, or while advanced medication for brains. Safety needs and its linked to marketing approach. However, we can take like a symbol of products called accessories, burglar or thieves alarm system, retirement, investment, insurance, smoking, carbon, exercise. The market approach here, only your mother is more obsessed with your safety. It's like how to use this like a motto or a logo for this product to satisfy the market needs according to the safety needs, and they will have Maslow hierarchy pyramid of needs. Here, we move on belongingness. Belongingness needs, if you have some, beauty aids, entertain, clothing, the market approach here, okay, is going to have some clothes or people will admire or entice their clothes. We can see this now. One recon or belt or as such the self-esteem was the fourth stage of Abraham Maslow hierarchy needs. For instance, if we get the product, we can see clothing, cars, jewelry, liquor, hobbies, beauty, spa, and service. The marketing approach here is keep this only one, more museum or taking legendary classic, Bombay souvenirs or both something priceless, or PTM, the ultimate machine here, and the product. The last one of the top of the pyramid is the self-actualization needs, where we can take product education or cultural events or sport or hobbies or workplace or career or your certificates, etc. It has to do with self-actualization. For marketing approaches, we can see like, if you let me play, I will like myself more, outward, bound school. The adventure lasts lifetime, etc. Uh, these are the needs. You can just take one of the previous and link it with marketing approach to finalize it as an example. Now we will move to the most prominent or most dominant 8 steps in business buying process. Let us focus on these and bear in mind why are these steps are very crucial in the buying process and links to the consumer behavior. A organization buying decisions, it has like subtitles of 8 consecutive steps. The first is problem recognition, the second general need description, third product specification, the fourth supplier research, five product solution, the fifth supplier selection, sales order routing, and the specification. The eighth is performance. Here one lead to another. The problem recognition need because we entitle it consecutive steps. General need description, product specification, supplier search, proposal, etc. Let us see how each of which constitute like a major topic by itself. The first need it has to do with the problem recognition. Okay, problem recognition is when someone in a company organized, well, we have a problem like deficiency in human resources or financial resources or equipment or both or etc. Means it can be met by acquiring good or service. The problem can occur because of internal or external stimuli. For instance, we have got some kind of shortage in employee or production or etc. General need description is a description is when company describes general characteristics and quantity of a needed items. For instance, if some one item that would be included in a general need description for a training meeting, if you have how to arrange the event, or how to arrange the staff, or how to collect them by email or by sending a message through the Facebook or WhatsApp or any other kind of media communication. The third is product specification, and this is when buying organization or any purchasing MNEs, multinational enterprises, or SMEs or small medium enterprises, on specifies the best technical product characteristics for need items, because they got like in inventories or checklist, and they check or in terms of what we call them the five rights: the right time to buy, the right place from the right place, and from the and with right price, and right quality, and right time. But this, yes, you can make like a checklist and actually, oh yeah, this is good price, good material, good time, good shipping, etc. And this item will be included in a product specification description for a training meeting. For instance, you want like how many beverages, Coca-Cola or Fanta, etc. You need like how many desks, how many computers for people or for attendees in your meeting, etc. The first is supplier search. When you want to buy stuff or you want to buy items even for your home or your house, you can make like supplier search. Is when you buy, try to find. For instance, for myself, I always buy from Su.com. Other prefer buying from Amazon or Alibaba or etc. And you can compare, and you can compare prices, and you can compare guarantees, you can compare any stuff of this. Proposal solution is when a qualified supplier are invited to submit a proposal. You make like a bid, or you make like some kind of proposal with people can buy the book where it has like some kind of tender proposal specification and price and the quality and the quantity, etc. It's like an inventory. It has to do with the purchasing stuff, etc. And what are the important tools for writing and searching proposal? For instance, you might fill an application online. For instance, you might get like application or fill like an items form online. You might do it by contacting people, contacting the company from which you want to buy or via its home page continuously. Uh, we can see this about the important tools for supplier purchasing. Supplier selection is how you select your supplier in terms of quality, in terms of price, of when a buyer receive a proposal and select a supplier or a supplier. Uh, you can put like some kind of 6 attributes or 5 attributes, as we have said before, in terms of right time, right place, right quality, right price, and right people call the right supplier when you're selecting allocation. Now it's more easier to select a supplier because the majority of us, not all of us, are preferring buying by online buying or via digital buying offering or by e-commerce or etc. And this is really a good chance or an excellent chance for considering the alternative in terms of the firefight, etc. The other routine specification is why you again you make a checklist and you make like an order routine specification for when a buyer write the final order with a choosing supplier. For instance, you can make like a list or listing the technical specification in terms of the quantity and the quality or whatever or the volume or the size, etc. The quantity you need, you can, if you want to buy like in a bulk or in a mass um, stuff, you can find like an order routine by order the quantity and the organization or supplier. You have to make sure that it has capacity to fulfill your order according to the capacity of production. Expected time of delivery, it's also have to be considered, has to be considered because sometimes people, they missed their deadline of delivery time, so you have to make sure that you have like the expected delivery time. Return policy, because some people, like a bank, uh, once you leave, there is no guarantee or return policy. You can't use the bank after you conduct the transaction and say, you know what, I missed or I forget £1,000 or £100, and the way around, the bank cannot call you back and say, what, you get more than you was in your account, etc. Warranties, some sites or some vendors or some purchaser or some suppliers, they give warrants for their products for 1 year, others 2 years, others 5 years. So you have to make sure that you get some maximum warranties time for your purchase and so on. Performance review, before you review the performance and when your buyers rate its specification with supplier supplier. Sometimes some websites they allocate like some kind of marking or some kind of clicking likes or some kind of rating system. So this site was to continue or just like a feedback, some kind of feedback for supplier to continue with the product if they got more likes and more stars, etc. And more some thumbs up to modify if people complain of the product, etc. Or to drop the relationship, people quitting dealing with such product. Now we have reached is the last one or the maximum of times in reviewing this. I want all of you to make sure that you have engulfed or you have understand these eight tasks plus the Maslow hierarchy pyramids of need. I will be